What's up, everybody? I'm back with BMF Season 4, Episode 2, Discovery. Before I start, make sure y'all like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Click the notification bell button so you can be updated on every video that I drop. Y'all make sure we are liking the videos so I can stay in the algorithm of things. I just wanted to let y'all know that tonight, I know I was supposed to bring Jenny in Georgia, but I won't be reviewing Jenny in Georgia tonight. After I do these three reviews, y'all, I'm going to rest because I'm a lot mentally drained. And I think it was just like doing videos after videos after videos, work, class, and so after I do this, I want to regroup, recharge, so that I can come to y'all tomorrow with content. So I'm gonna bring y'all Jenny in Georgia, episode Saturday and an episode Sunday, and I do have a lot of stuff to review tomorrow as well as Sunday. So, like I said, y'all just bear with me. I'm trying to push through, but right now I really need a mental break. So that's all. Anyway, the episode starts with Terry and Meech. They flash back to Mexico again. Loco is cutting deer meat, and Meech is telling Terry that he saw God. He said that he was anointed. God told him he was anointed. And then Meech and Terry, of course, they start to argue. Like, they just can't get along. Anyway, in the next scene, we're at Terry's restaurant, diner or whatever, and there are the people there talking about Lamar being pop out or whatever, and the dude Sterling came in and asked Terry, has he talked to Meech since Meech left. Terry said no. Sterling also tells Terry that, hey, you owe B Mickey a conversation, and you owe him a thank you for saving y'all life. He then tells Terry he wouldn't do, I wouldn't do anything first without talking to bro or whatever. I guess I kind of missed that, but y'all can fill in the blanks for me. Anyway, back in Atlanta, Meech is preparing to get weight from Loco. Duffy have the trucks, and I'm sorry y'all, Duffy have the trucks, and Duffy is they ready to go. They have everything set up so Meech can get his work. Meech actually thanks Duffy for taking care of things while he and Terry was out in Mexico. And then we find out Duffy's dad, isn't doing good. His dad is in jail, not doing good, and they don't know how long he's gonna have. But Duffy has been putting money on his dad's books. So in the next scene, B Mickey gets home. We find out that his daughter is not just sick; she's extremely sick. The bills are piling up, and B Mickey's only job is working at the GM plant. He wants to work with Terry and Meech, but everything he did, they're not trusting him at this moment. So I don't know what's in store for B Mickey, but he's really wanting to take care of his daughter and get all of those things so she can be well. Anyway, Mark, aka Detective Vaughn, I guess that's his. I don't know. I want to say Detective Vaughn. Is he supposed to be undercover? Is that why he's in Atlanta? Anyway, he drops off the guy that was at the AA meeting with him on last week, and he asks if is anybody talking about what happened. The guy was like, well, no, nobody talks, nobody knows nothing. They see everything, but basically they don't know nothing. So then Detective Vaughn gets out of his car and he goes to ask these dudes that he don't know in the neighborhood, he knows nothing about, for a light. And so they was like, no. So in come four, I want to say it was like 4 cars, and they start grabbing people and beating them. Now, I thought that this was a gang of people, but come to find out, this was the police. And I guess they go into Tremont. I think that was the name of the projects. It was Tremont, because eventually the city is wanting to tear Tremont down, but Meach actually wants to use Tremont to move his weight and move his product and set up shop there. So we get over to the church house, and Lulu is in the choir. Lulu and the choir are singing Silver and Gold. And y'all, she tearing it up, because I didn't know Pastor Lulu can sing. Okay? So my boy Charles Raw Dog Flannery, when I tell y'all my boy was in the spirit, okay? He was in the spirit. He was feeling it. I wasn't mad at. Let me tell y'all, I really like Charles. Like, I've never not liked Raw Dog. I've always liked Charles Raw Dog Flannery, okay? All time. I like him. Anyway, B. Mickey is at church, and he gets up. Church is over, so he goes to Raw Dog and Pastor Lulu, and he's telling them, my baby is sick, and he feels like he's being punished for his sins. He asked Charles, like he talked to Charles and get some advice for him, and Charles was like, listen, when it comes to my family, I've always had 3 jobs. And that's how he was able to take care of his family and maintain everything. He asked Pastor Lulu if the church can help with his daughter's surgery. She said she will talk to the board and see if they can help with the benevolent fund or whatever. I don't know, but we gonna find out. Anyway, Terry meets up with Markeisha. She hooks him up with I forget his name, but she hooked him up with a distro guy, I think. And at this point, I feel like these men be shitting on Markeisha, and everything they've gotten was because of Markeisha. I know Markeisha is a little annoying, but at some point y'all gotta really put some respect on this lady name. Anyway, Detective Vaughn is at the police station, so y'all know the police beat him with them sticks and locked him, and put him in the interrogation room. It turns out that those guys were actually cops, of course, and they also tell Detective Vaughn, because they found out he was the police that snitched on the whole department back in Detroit, and they tell him, to stay out of the way. And Detective Vaughn, he was like, I'm not no snitch. I was just bringing down a corrupt police department. And he said, I'd do it again. And that was that. So Nicole and her boyfriend are together in her car. They're just in the back seat talking or whatever. And she's spending her last night with him before he heads off to Clark. And, before she heads off to Morris Brown. And so he was like, well, I'll wait on you. I'll wait till you get to Morris Brown. So Nicole was like, well, no, I'm ready now. And, she loses her virginity in the back seat of the car, and it is steamy. The windows are steamy and all of that. I was like, no, not in the back of the car. But anyway, she got what she got. So it's a knock on the window, and come to find out, it's a police. He tells them to get out of the car. Over in Atlanta, because Meech told Duffy he was taking him up to the strip club. So we get to the strip club. Meech is telling them about his experience in Mexico, and how he had like a spiritual experience. And so Meech sees this woman, he knows her, he sees her, of course he go home with the woman and do with that woman and another woman. Y'all know Meech. At the end of this, y'all gonna see Meech in a foursome, okay? A menage a four, alright? Sorry. Anyway, my boy Raw Dog gets a phone call, finds out that his next tour have been canceled. I'm like, God, dog, why y'all trying to play my boy like that? Like, that's not okay. And so, now let me tell y'all this. Lucille has entirely pissed me off this entire episode, okay? Because she just acting how she acting. And so, she comes down. She was, when he finds out the tour has been canceled, she was like, well, how you gonna pay child support? Like, she just all up in his stuff. And I'm like, girl, like, she tells him, you at this point, because I don't think Lucille works anymore because she's a pastor. Ma'am, if you don't get that Wendy's job back and part-time at Wendy's while you pastoring, listen, it is what it is. So he was like, our kids are grown, so therefore I don't have to pay child. I ain't paying. I don't pay child support. And so Lucille, wait, what happened? She told him about the child support. He made that comment. He said, our kids are grown and whatnot. And so the phone rings. He doesn't answer the phone. She's standing there. They both looking at each other because they just got through from arguing. And she finally goes and answers the phone. She was like, who can this be? Well, it's Nicole. Nicole's been arrested. We find out that the car that Meech purchased for her graduation gift is stolen. So the detective is asking Nicole all of these questions. And of course, now he can ask her because she is 18. So it's not like she need a parent with her. So he's just all flat. He's just flat out an asshole to this girl. Where did you get the car from? She said, Michael, my brother. She was like, he showed her the picture. Which one? She said, Michael Smith. So of course she lies because she's not going to throw Meech or Terry under the bus. Well, Meech, really. She's not going to throw Meech under the bus. She's going to protect him. But I think after this, I think Nicole is done. I think we can honestly say she's not done. But at this point, she's reached that level. Anyway, he puts her in a holding cell with some grown ass women, and they looking at her like she fresh meat. So anyway, Lulu calls Meech and tells him what happened. Now at this point, Lucille is pissed off. And she was like, we don't need your money. I'm just calling you to tell you that car you bought my daughter got her arrested. And so he tells Duffy what happened. And he was like, we need to go see that at the dealership tomorrow because she told us that the fleet of cars she gave us was good. And my sister just got arrested. So of course, Meech is pissed or whatever. There is nothing he can really do, but he's gonna try to fix the whole situation with the cars. And sometimes, y'all, I think sometimes Meech to me is such a dummy. Like, I don't know. He don't think. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe he's still fresh and new. Maybe, I don't know, but he don't think. Anyway, Charles walks in the door to let Lucille know that all the pawn shops are closed for the night. And she want to ask Terry, but Charles was like, no, I don't think it's a good idea because I don't want us to be to risk getting into trouble because Terry money is dirty money, of course. So prior to that, Lucille was sitting there praying, trying to figure out the answer. I told y'all that Lucille was gonna piss me off, especially since she got that pastorship job. She pissed me off. She said, she gets on to Charles and tell him because he don't, because, wait, what's she saying? Oh, so we know Charles don't have a singing gig right now. And I was like, well, didn't you give him your blessing to go chase his pipe dream, which is what she called it? And now you want to be judgmental because he lost his job. And now y'all need the money. Like, she's been on Charles ever since Ever since Lucille got that role, boy, Lucille been an asshole. Okay, I'm sorry, y'all. She just been judgmental AF. So she blames Charles, which was totally not fair, for what happened to Nicole. He told her, you were supposed to make sure that our last child didn't sell drugs and get on drugs and didn't go to jail. She makes a smart ass comment and was like, well, at least she ain't on drugs or something. I was like, I was really annoyed. I am extremely annoyed because you placing all this on Charles' doorstep. Now hold on, cause she done pissed me off, y'all. She placed all this on that man's doorstep, and I guess when you call Meech, that was you blaming him, but all of this is on Meech, all of it. So Hook is the one that's keeping tabs on B Mickey for Terry. His fat ass is in that hot ass car sleeping with Burger King sitting on his passenger side. And so B Mickey sees him, goes up to the car, wakes him up, he jumped. You're supposed to be looking out and watching B Mickey's every move for Terry, but your stupid ass sitting in the car asleep. Like, I got a problem with that. And so Terry was like, you supposed to be his top man and you in here asleep. He was like, I would have never did that. Like, B Mickey kind of went off and then went back. He was like, man, I gotta go to work. I don't got time for this. So my boy Raw Dog had to pawn his I think it was his keyboard or whatever. He had to pawn it, and the man can only give him 30% less than the retail price. And it was enough to get Nicole out, to bond Nicole out. But still, like, you couldn't have paid him what it was worth, but I guess. Anyway, Meech heads over to that grimy ass dealership called Apex dealership, and Meech tells her what happened. She tells Meech her guy said that the Hondas was good. He look out the window to see Detective Vaughn about to walk into the dealership. So of course Meech was like, she tells homegirl, listen, when that detective shows up, walk in and always remember, with him, silence is golden, and I will have a package of money, for her silence. And he was like, you have a back door? She was like, yeah. So they head out the back door. Meech wasn't in there, but Detective Vaughn asked her if she sold the car, showed the picture of Meech, and she was like, no. Just to she threw him off the trail, but I think Detective Vaughn knew she was lying. Anyway, so Raw Dog, Charles, Lucille, and Nicole walking in the door. Charles goes over to the kitchen and have a seat. Lucille, once again, you're not even checking on your daughter to see if she's okay. Lucille is an asshole, okay? You haven't even asked the girl, was she good, but you're disappointed in her because you found out she lost her virginity to her boyfriend. And so, y'all know Nicole is 18 at this point. It may not make it right, but she's 18. So Nicole tells Lucille, you getting real high and mighty, mama. She said just because, let me say this. Because, yeah, I was with Nicole when she said you getting high and mighty. Because just a few months ago, you let a nigga hit you and lie to you, all right? You let him play on your top, come in, lie to you, sleep with you, and leave you and tell you that he had somebody. And now because you did all of that, you won't go run to the Lord. And because you ran to the Lord, you want to sit and decide to act like you ain't never been 18. See, that's what be pissing me off. So you turn you turn your life around, and you do. And you know, Lucille wasn't a bad person, but you move into a space of your spiritual, your into the religious space, and you lose your mind and your marbles, and you act like you senile or something. You act like you don't remember you was 18. So now you want to pass judgment on everybody else instead of extending grace to your own kid. I'm sorry, y'all. I just had to say that. You let this take your drawers over at the Easy Rest Motel. And I know she ain't let them go. They ain't go to the Easy Rest. That was Charles and that other lady. But I'm just saying. Bye, Lucille. I'm sorry. Y'all, when I tell y'all I was so sick of Lucille. So, Nicole told Lucille those robes got her thinking she high and mighty. The way Raw Dog looked up, like, girl, you done lost your mind. So, Nicole did says, I'm an adult and I don't need your permission to drive or to screw. She goes on to say, besides, when you were 18, what? You was on baby number 1 or 2. Baby, Lucille charged at Nicole. Raw Dog got up just in time to grab her. And Lucille gonna tell that girl, you better go upstairs before I unalive your ass. Hold up. Now, she wasn't lying. I'm sorry, y'all. So, Raw Dog, y'all, listen, I was here for Raw Dog. He grabbed Pastor so quick. And so he tells her, you have all of this grace for all of your church members, but you need to extend that same grace to your family. And she does not. Especially Charles. It's like you're disgusted with him because he followed his dream. Well, a part of you wanted to be in the church, so you're doing the things that you want to do. I just don't understand why that's a problem for Charles to do it. Like, that's all I'm saying. I don't like it. And so back over at Atlanta, that black detective goes to Detective Vaughn's house and gets him to work together with, is it Khan or Kane? Kane was the Asian man with a badass attitude. He definitely give me LDE and little man syndrome. Okay? Definitely. So, Meech calls Nicole to find out the name of the detective. She gives him the name, but you know, they talk in code or whatever about concert tickets and promoters or whatever. And before she hung up, she cussed him smooth the hell out. Okay? And I was here for it. Because you didn't even check on me. You checked on me and was like, oh, you good? You good? Like, it almost felt like you was playing in that damn girl's face. Like, you good? But, oh yeah, but because you good, I need this information. Like, I don't know. So Terry goes over to Markeisha's house to tell her about the meeting that he had with that connect and let Markeisha know, like, I told him that he's going to report to you. First of all, he opened the door with his key, and I guess he thought once he gave Markeisha what he wanted, he probably thought he was going to get some ill nah. Markeisha was like, I'm going to keep my legs closed, but I'm going to keep my eyes open. So she told Terry, baby, next time knock. Don't use your key. This is not your place. You may have gotten it for me, but this is my place. And he left. Like, sir, please. So Raw Dog went back to his GM job. And I don't like that for him, but y'all know how the saying go, work ain't honest, but it pay the bills. So that was just to get Lucille's stupid ass off his back. You know, so he just decided, I'm a man, so I'm going to go ahead and go back to work. Cool. So, in the car with the detective, Kane, and Detective Vaughn and this other lady, you know, they was going to stop the, I'm sorry, y'all. They head over to bust that air, because they thought that the plane that was coming in was Meech's supplier. So, Detective Kane called in the radio and was like, this is what we gonna do. We gonna go in on my call. Detective Vaughn was like, no, don't do that. Like, we need to sit and watch. Like, so I will say this, Meech was about 5 steps ahead. But I wanna say this. Detective Kane was unalived, and I feel like it was his arrogance that got him unalived. That allowed him to, be in that for him to be unalived. I don't know. So Terry then meets up with B Mickey. He want B Mickey said he wants back in. Terry was like, hell no, we don't trust you. And B Mickey was like, well, I want to do this for my daughter. And Terry told him no, but handed him a wad of cash. B Mickey said, I don't want that. I want to earn the cash on my own. I think it's more than just his daughter. I think he's just tired of having these jobs, and he's so used to fast money. But you burn them, and you can't get in just because you want in, and you let time go by. That's not how that work, because they're not going to be able to trust you. So for me, I would have took the money, especially since my daughter is sick. Like, I'm sorry, bills are due, all of these things are happening, I need to take this money. So Meech, in the next scene, meets the artist, the girl whose song he kept hearing in the club. She looked very homely. The guy who was her manager was over, I want to say, in that little raggedy ass VIP section, drinking, like really just spending up all her money, lying to her, playing in her face, and I'm assuming that he's sleeping with her too. He's just taking full advantage of this young lady. So Meech was like, just throwing in his little game or whatever. The dude looking, and this about to be a whole nother problem. So in the next scene, well, the lady, the head stripper in charge, that was the lady Meech met. I mean, gave him what he needed when he came back in town. I mean, when he came back from Mexico. This the same lady and 3 of her other girls. And she asked him to try to appeal a blue dolphin. And I want to say she said it'll keep him up all night. And I think he started to think a little more. Like, I don't know if that's what he's going to start selling. But I don't know. So while he's with them, the weight that was supposed to come in at that airport, it actually went to St. Louis. Was it St. Louis? By Jay Pusha. So Jay Pusha have pretty much at this point, he have his own plans with, I'm sorry y'all, he have his own plans with Meech's weight. And this is where the episode ended. Y'all, yeah, that's all I got. I will see y'all in the next video. Bye bye.